They're gonna come up with different ideas. Well, this is Bitcoin, but with this little feature. And this is Bitcoin with this little feature and that little feature. And this is Bitcoin with this feature, but not that feature. We're gonna remove this, we're gonna add this. And I think it's gonna be a very interesting 2018 dealing with it. And it's way too early to predict what's gonna come in 2019. So right now we're in 2017 and it feels like every year there is another trend. In 2012, it was mostly just Bitcoin. In 2013, the first altcoins came out. In 2014 is where we had this altcoin boom. With Litecoin, and Litecoin came out earlier, but others like Dash and some of the other ones at Monero. And this is when they were starting to become popular. Everyone was talking about altcoins. That was 2014. 2015, this is where the word blockchain started to come out, and people wanted to, do new databases, and we need a blockchain, and everything is going to be blockchains. This is also when new applications were coming out, things like Ethereum, things like BitShares. The latest one coming out is EOS, and Waves came out not too long ago. This is the world computer for smart contracts, which is also its own currency. That's the part that I find problematic. You can do smart contracts. You don't need to create your own currency alongside. But now 2017 seems to clearly be the year of the ICO. This is where you have some kind of an idea and you're creating your own currency, your own application token, just to sell your idea, no matter what that idea is, everywhere. So what is going to happen next? Because every year the trend completely changes. We just had Bcash, and what Bcash did was it took the most decentralized, the most spread around the world token, which is Bitcoin, and it started everybody off with some of this alternative from those that already have it. This might be the new model for 2018. We'll have another one of these come out later this year with SegWit2x because they don't like those big blocks. They want their own different kind of big blocks. And I think this could be the next model because it's hard at this point to sell your token. People are starting to get caught up. The easy money has been made. How do you make the next round of easy money? So what you're gonna do is you're gonna look for some of these successful cryptocurrencies, like Bitcoin, like Ethereum. Unfortunately, it's pretty widespread, maybe a few others, and you're gonna clone it and sell it in a way to have people to be already invested by default because they have the most decentralized currency like Bitcoin. So forks of Bitcoin are about to become very popular, in my opinion. They're gonna come up with different ideas. Well, this is Bitcoin, but with this little feature. And this is Bitcoin with this little feature and that little feature. And this is Bitcoin with this feature, but not that feature. We're gonna remove this, we're gonna add this. And I think we are about to see a world with a bunch of Bitcoins. Maybe they'll start changing the names of their forks, but they're gonna kind of force people like myself, that are true Bitcoin believers, into some of this easy money and unfortunately promote it alongside because everyone asks us questions. Well, what do you think of this clone? What do you think of that clone? And we will already be invested in these alternatives, not that we want to, but because of the way the system is designed. And I think it's going to be a very interesting 2018 dealing with it, and it's way too early to predict what's going to come in 2019. So in the next 12 months, I'm really looking forward to our first Lightning transactions. This was one of the big battles we've been dealing with for almost 2 years now. How do we scale Bitcoin? And the smartest solution from the engineers, from people who have been doing this for 5-6 years is we can't hard fork. We can't force everyone to use a bigger block, and it makes no sense. Even if we could force everyone to make a bigger block, what is it going to do? You're just making the highway bigger. And what's going to happen? Later, you're going to have to make it even bigger. You got to have a better solution. You can't keep making a highway bigger, and storing all that data becomes a bit problematic, and there could be additional mining centralization. So the solution was segregated witness. And what segregated witness does is it eliminated this bug called transaction malleability. Once transaction malleability gets eliminated, we will be able to start testing out second layer scaling solutions, which by some accounts would give us thousands of transactions per second. Perhaps one day even infinite number of transactions a second. And I'm really looking forward to seeing real scaling. So I'm really looking forward to that. And that should be coming towards the end of the year, if not early next year, our first real life commerce transactions on Lightning, which is off-chain transactions, which are secure and potentially more private. Speaking of private, there is another development that is happening, is that some core developers are really looking at fungibility solutions. So fungibility is a word used for privacy purposes, so that every Bitcoin or every part of a Bitcoin is as anonymous as any other part of a Bitcoin. Bitcoin isn't fully anonymous right now, and there are plenty of companies that are tracking everything people are doing and trying to identify people using Bitcoin. Some of the projects that people are working on, one of them is called Mimblewimble, which would strongly help with this fungibility. There are also other projects like confidential transactions and some other ones. So I'm also looking forward to that. But to me, this privacy and fungibility was always something good as a layer on top of Bitcoin. Putting full privacy on the Bitcoin Foundation, on the blockchain itself, would eliminate a Bitcoin from being used in ways where you don't want full fungibility. Sometimes we want to know who's using the money and who's spending the money. I know that the government always wants to know how the people are using and spending the money. But the people want to see how the government is using and spending the money. So I was always of the belief that when it comes to money, if you're a private citizen and you work and you earn your money through voluntary means, people are buying your service, people are buying your product, people are happy with your service or product, you should have the right to full privacy and use that money in any way that you like. When it comes to government and tax collection, because they collect from the productive people and claim to spend that money for the good of those people, all of those transactions need to be public for the people that they take the money from. So having full Bitcoin fungibility is not good, because then you would not be able to see how the government is spending the money if you can't get a government to adopt a system like Bitcoin. And that's what I'm looking for. We have fungibility as a second layer, and then you can easily have certain aspects of the economy showing you all of the transactions, while another section of the economy is able to completely make their transactions anonymous. And one day, hopefully, somebody from my generation will run for politics, and they would push for this open view, open spending of money from the government side of the equation.